And welcome everybody to another edition of Unexplained Cases Live. You've got Rick Garner, your executive producer, Darren Dito, our anchored reporter, Maryam the medium. And tonight, special guest with us is a psychic artist, Angela Boley. Welcome tonight, Angela.
Thank you so very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
See, and it's our pleasure to have you. And we'll get to a little bit later on what location that you've chosen to remote view, because that's looks very fascinating to say the least. But in the meantime, Darren, why don't you do the interrogation? Let everybody know about Angela.
I'm very nice. I promise, Angela. Thanks so much. It's great to have you on the show and to learn more about you and your gift. I think the folks at home would really like to know about how this all started for you. And it was when you were 5 years old, you had an experience with your family. Take us back to what happened when you were 5.
Yes, when I was 5 years old, I had mistaken a bottle of aspirin, thinking it was a bottle of candy, took the whole contents of the bottle of aspirin, ate the whole thing thinking it was candy. And when that happened, I started to vomit blood. I was rushed to the hospital. I was in the pediatric unit at the East Liverpool Hospital. Now, this was back in the 70s. This was before safety caps. So you understand that this was much easier at this time frame than at later times when we had safety caps. But at this point, there weren't any safety caps. And what happened was, when I got to the hospital, and I was vomiting blood, I started to go into shock. The emergency care physician explained to my parents, we're going to need to get blood for her. She's going to bleed to death if we don't give her some blood. So what happened with that is that he sent the nurse off. The nurse went off to see if there was any supply or stock of blood left. There was not. He came back later and told my parents that I was going to die and there was nothing that anybody could do about it. And I continued to go into shock. I had hot and cold sensations, had shaking. I kept vomiting blood over and over. Now the blood I was vomiting out was black because stomach acids turns your blood black. And I was right. Now I was laid on a table. The physician put a blanket over my face, and I had no idea why he was putting a blanket over my face like that, because from my perspective, I'm still very much alive. I didn't understand what was going on, really. I felt extremely cold, finally. I felt so cold, and that, really stood out in my memory was that coldness I was feeling. But I did lay down. I did close my eyes. He put the blanket over me. And I heard him say to my parents, I've made a call to the coroner. It may be minutes, it may be hours before they get here, but the coroner is going to come pick up her body.
So at this time, they're telling your family she's no longer here. She's died.
Yes. What happened after that? I had the experience of felt like I was going through a great hallway, a great tunnel. But it was very much like going through a tunnel full of cobwebs. And when I went through the tunnel full of cobwebs, after that, I came up to the end of the hallway and I could see the ceiling of the ER again. Only I'm seeing this sunshine and this beam of light, like shining through the ceiling, which I know is not logical, even for a 5-year-old, for that to possibly take place.
Sure.
I actually then went up into this light, went up through the sunbeam. And as I was going up, I could see all the other people on all the other floors, all the other patients in their beds, as I was going up this beam of light.
So it's sort of like if you had like a dollhouse and you took the roof off of it, and if it was like 3 levels, you're kind of looking down into the hospital, something like that?
Well, first I could go up through the floors first, and I was passing people, and then I went up through the roof, and then I was looking down at the hospital. I could see the roof of the hospital under my feet. I could look down.
Okay, I got you.
And see the roof, and then I see I'm heading towards a great light. I'm like, what is this tremendous light that I'm going towards? It's very bright. It's the brightest I've ever seen. what is this tremendous light that I'm seeing here? Is it the sun? And just as I thought, is this the sun? I look over at the actual sun, and the sun looked dim compared to the light that I was going, and the sun looked like a pea-sized light in the sky compared to the light I was going to.
Wow.
So I went into that light, and while I was in that light, there was so much joy the moment I entered that light, so much awareness, and there was a great intelligence. This light had such an intelligence that I can't describe to you. It is the most vast intelligence that you can imagine. All perfect order, all perfect love, perfect joy was in this light and emanated from the light. And this light spoke to me in a very deep voice and said, your body's made out of individual structures called cells. I am repairing all of them, and I'm sending you back. And the reverse happened. I actually went down through the roof, down through the light, and for the first time saw my body laying on the table,
Wow.
apart from me, which shocked me. Like, whoa, what's going on? And it was like my body was just like a suit or maybe like a car. It seemed like to me it was like a technology, like a suit you wear. It's like a wearable techno suit, like maybe the soldiers wear now, right? Your exoskeleton. It's not me. It's my car.
It's your shell or something. You know what I mean? I know what you're saying. But you have the soul and then the outer part of it. So even at 5 years old, you know, this would be tough for an adult, I think, to process. But even at that age, you were still aware of, hey, something's not right here. And then I know the story got crazy because you have a sheet over you at that point, right? And then did you bounce out of bed, or what happened next?
Well, what happened is that since I was facing my body, it's like turned over and I was in line with my body. So I'm in the same position as my body. And then I hear the voice say, get up, get up, get up. And on the third get up, I jumped off the table. I literally just jumped off the table. And the doctors, the nurses, my parents, everybody was shocked. I didn't understand why they were shocked that I'm awake.
They probably jumped also, I bet.
Just about. And there was a pause. And then the ER physician says to my mom, can I re-examine her? And she says, yes. And he re-examined me. He said, not only is she fully recovered, but she is actually in better health than the average child her age. I had been dead without a pulse, without a heartbeat, without brain activity for over 30 minutes.
My goodness.
And woke up in better
miracle
health than when I went in there with.
Wow. And then I guess as you got older, then you discovered maybe from this event that you had a gift, or you were sensitive, and you saw some pretty scary things and had some pretty remarkable experiences. Maybe there's one you'd like to share with us, you know, when you were younger, when you knew you were psychic.
I knew I was psychic. It seemed like a door was open for me. And that's the best way as I can describe it. It's like a door was open in my mind, and I could suddenly see things that other people couldn't, including there was a number of entities in her home. It was a demonically active house. There were black masses, shadow demons, I would call them, coming up from the floor, coming out of the walls. There's all sorts of paranormal activity going on. I had started seeing visions of the future. And some of them were quite violent, including wars, including the wars that which are now in our past. But I could also found that I could interact with some other beings, some angelic beings as well, that would kind of come to my aid. But there was a spirit in the home also, besides the demons, of a little girl who was killed there. And I didn't tell you this earlier, but this little girl, she had her throat slit with a straight razor.
Oh my gosh.
And this is what I saw her. I saw her with a slit throat, and I saw her in a very distressed state, a decomposing state, and she would hound me constantly. And I didn't understand. I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified. And I didn't realize that a straight razor had been used until she showed me in the dream what happened to her. And I went to get my hair cut for the first time because I had long hair then. I hadn't had a haircut. and somebody used a straight razor to clean my neck. And I'm like, what is that? And they told me, well, that's a straight razor. That's the only time I realized, oh my gosh, I really saw something for real. I could also hear the thoughts of my parents. I could see auras, and I wasn't understanding, but I knew something had changed in my mind, or something had been done to my mind, that my perception was radically altered. It was very difficult for me, for being a child and going through demonic attacks, having deceased people who have died of traumatic deaths appear to me as real, as vivid as any flesh and blood person. You know,
and real quick, how old are you at this time?
I first started seeing the little girl when I was right away, after I got back, and as well as the demons right away.
Really?
And I started having
at 5 years old.
At 5 years old, and I started having visions.
My gosh.
Before. Some of those visions were come straight out of the Bible. If you recall the chapter, I think this is chapter Isaiah 53, where he talks about invaders of the north attacking Israel, and then there's blood as far as you can see up to the horse's bridle. I had that vision. Only in my vision, the blood wasn't quite as deep, and I had somebody standing behind me, a protecting, loving figure. I put his hand on my shoulder and said, I'm showing you this because this is going to happen in your lifetime. Now, who knows when that's going to be, who knows when I'm going to live. But many years later, probably when I was 12 or 13 years old, I was going to church and just skimming through the Bible, and I saw a verbal description of what I had seen in the Bible, for example. I mean, these are extremely violent, very dark.
Yeah, they're terrible. So when did you start painting what you saw, or when the visions came to you? Were you in, your teenage years, or as you got to be an adult, or when did you? I mean, you're seeing these things. When did you put it on canvas? Then
I didn't start putting on canvas to maybe 3 or 4 years ago, if that.
Really? Okay.
Because I was mostly journaling what I was experiencing, and I really didn't have any opportunity to help or use my abilities, because for a long time I had to learn how to set boundaries for myself. And there were other spirits that kind of took the reins of the roles of parents, in a sense, that helped me learn to defend myself, learn to set boundaries. And largely it was that connection with Jesus. He was still speaking with me, still visiting with me, still does. Holy Mother of God, Saint Benedict, and I didn't recognize him when I first met him, but Saint Benedict is a patron saint of exorcists, basically. He was with me, praying for me. Saint Gabriel, that archangel, he introduced himself to me, and they took it upon themselves to kind of teach me how to set boundaries, and which I wish I had been able to learn as a child, and what like parents that teach their children to set the boundaries and empower themselves. Because I was 5 years old, I had to do that on my own. And I actually walked through the house in the dark, calling out demons and telling them to leave me alone. And if they want to fight me, you come out and fight me right now. I'll tear you apart. I did that all night one night. And I didn't see them again after that in the house, but they were still moving things, still attacking, but I didn't see them again after that.
What were you telling your parents? And, did they think you had an not many 5-year-olds make up things like that so clear with the details. When you told them what was happening, what was their reaction?
Their reaction was, "Oh, you're just seeing things." When I told them about the demonic things, but there would be times that even that they could not explain some of the events happening. For example, we were all together in the living room, and we were trying to plan a vacation together. So we were all together. It's broad daylight. We're trying to plan our vacation. We have the TV off. And while we're doing that, all of a sudden we hear footsteps upstairs. And it's upstairs walking across the bedroom. We had hardwood floors, and that's a very distinct sound of footsteps.
Oh, yeah.
Walking across the floor, flipping on the light switch, and walking back across. And then they got it. Like, why did they never come out of the bedroom, first of all? And the weird thing about it, in order for them to hit the light switch from the wood step, they have to start from the corner of the bedroom and already be in the bedroom, and that's where their starting part, and walk across the floor, flip the light switch.
Gotcha.
It wasn't like somebody walked in the door and walked upstairs. There was no way, because we were all staring at the front door. So nobody.
Sure, like what the heck is going on?
Yeah. My dad just looks at me, you go check on that. I'm like, no way. I'm a kid. You're the adult. You go check on it. And like 3 hours later, I went out and looked, and of course, nobody's there. There's no sign of anybody. But things like that. I mean, they couldn't deny that the paranormal was real. And later on, though, in my 20s, especially, and it seemed to get more intense.
Ooh.
And I would have family members who I've never met. A lot of my family members are, older, had passed away long before I was born.
Sure.
And I told my mother about my great grandfather. William Amos, and I told him what he was like. He said he was really tall. He always wore a hat, and he's always a real tough guy. He's like a Clint Eastwood type guy, and tough guy. And the closest thing you never say to "I love you," the closest thing you say is "I'll kick somebody's ass for you." That's the closest you get to "I love you."
He was a protector, but not just exactly. He wasn't a touchy-feely kind of person.
Yes, exactly. And she laughed. She said, "That's exactly how he was, and that's exactly what he would have said." And I never met him. See, he died years before I was even born, so I never met him. Never met him in the same lifetime. But he was telling me, he would come to my dreams and tell me that he's looking out for me, and he's very protective, especially in my career. Right. And his father-in-law came through, and his name was William Williams, and he was actually very close to William Williams in life, and I did not know this, but in my psychic dreams, they would both come in together. They both share the name of William. And one of them has business experience, the other one didn't. And both of them have been very, very much a part of my guidance into the art world, because they helped me guide me towards people that kind of encourage me. Mm-hmm. And I started putting it down. And when I realized and developed confidence in my abilities, realizing just how accurate and how well and what a great gift that I'd been given. And then I started putting it on canvas. And when I would put it on canvas long before anybody would do the investigation, because I would say, tell me nothing, just give me the address, name, that's all I need. And I did that and would draw the apparitions portraits before I got there. Then at the end, when we do the interviews and I confirm what the family's been experiencing, and I'd show them the apparition that I painted, they're like, oh my God, that person was standing in front of my bed multiple nights. Oh
my God, terrifying. Well, speaking of apparitions, tonight for our remote viewing, you've chosen the Poasttown Elementary School in Ohio. Why that location?
I have had, as far as a haunted place, it's extremely active. It's probably the most active place I have ever been to, besides my own home. I go in there, and every time I go in there, it's always active. I've seen lights, free-floating lights. I've seen full-bodied apparitions the first day I was there, the first investigation I ever did. I've seen things crawling across the ceiling. I have also there's a little boy named Billy who follows me around and plays jokes with me. He likes to just tap me on the back sometimes and then run off and giggle. But we've actually had Billy's voice in the hallway and come through a geophone at the same time. So his voice was coming into a room and then out in the hallway at the same time, disembodied. Incredible.
Spooky.
And I feel a closeness for all those spirits. They when I go there, they recognize me, they call my name, and there's a friendliness to it. There's just one negative spirit that doesn't like anybody.
So tonight we have a special treat, because obviously we're going to work with Maryam, who will do a remote viewing. And while she's doing that, you're going to be painting, trying to interpret what she is seeing and experiencing. And Maryam, maybe at this point I could turn it over to you. And this is kind of new. We're kind of feeling our way through this. So this is going to be very unique tonight. Now, Angela, you have started drawing some stuff already. Are you picking up something even before we start the remote viewing?
Yes, there was a little girl that's been with me for a couple of days from Poasttown. And the most I think of Poasttown, she shows up. Her name is Sarah, and she follows me around quite a bit. And she's like the first person. She almost runs to me when I go there. She's been in my mind a lot. I'm just go ahead and do her portrait.
Mhm.
I'm almost done with it already, just in a short amount of time that I've been.
Okay.
So,
Well, cool. Well, before we get to Miriam, before you take it over, just want to give some shout outs.
Yes.
Israel from Maryland, which is where I'm at, so representing there. Jessica from Canada. We've got Cindy. We've got Jenny. We've got Mary Christina. Thanks again, one of our big fans there for joining. Mary Ferguson, Bingham. Two Marys in the house. Teresa, Vicky, Danielle. Danielle, definite shout out to her because she couldn't wait for tonight because she's very familiar with Poasttown.
Oh, cool.
Near her. And also Georgia and I think I'm up to date with everyone who snuck into the chat. So, guys, also just want to remind you that if you haven't yet, to please go to our YouTube channel and be sure and subscribe to our show because that helps us. And so we appreciate you for subscribing, for watching, for the
There's
merch.
a lot of cool stuff there.
Absolutely. A lot of investigations there for sure.
Yes, indeed.
So we appreciate everybody's support. So Miriam, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Okay, everybody. So I'm going to have you, for anyone that's new to the show, I ask you to join me on the journey. Everyone's intuitive. So this is your opportunity to really practice that and use it. If you don't know where to start, just start with your imagination and just allow whatever you're feeling to kind of lead you. Okay. Feel free to put in the chat what you're seeing, what you're feeling, anything you're experiencing. If there's anything you want me to move towards or look at, just come along with me, okay? I'm looking at pictures right now. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to put these down and
do you want a history at all of the school?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you can start there, sure.
Okay, so it was dedicated in 1937. It did stay open until 2000. As I mentioned earlier, there's 54 rooms there. There's actually a couple that live in there now. What is interesting about the hauntings, of course, it was a school and there could be kids and teachers, but there were some pretty bad events that happened in that area. There was two very bad train accidents, one in July of 1891, also in July of 1910, where passenger trains collided with freight trains. Sadly, people died. Many were injured. But in one of those instances, of course, the school was not there, in 1910 or 1891, but the land was used as a place to triage the patients. So you can imagine all of just such a horrific event that is, where these people were on the land. And then also there was a flood in 1913 that killed a bunch of people. So you had, three very traumatic events. Then a school was built and countless children went there and there was staff and teachers and everything. So that's
Okay.
One of the reasons why it's possibly spiritually active.
Okay.
If you got all that was quite a rundown.
That's a lot. Okay.
I know, I'm sorry.
Let's go. No, that's great. Everyone wants to know and hear about all of that. That's great. So it's funny, not funny. It's interesting. I definitely feel, everyone is the beings that are there are very much aware and friends with, if you will, Angela. So I'm asking if they'll let me kind of walk around. This isn't one of those, like for those of you that have been watching for a while, some of those other buildings were kind of like protected. I'd have to ask someone if I can come in and then override them, and it would be a whole thing. Here is pretty open, it's kind of like open season. Everyone's welcome. Anyone can come in. You've got a lot of beings, more beings than not, that are just choosing to just be there. I mean, we're gonna. The more I get into it, the more I'll find. But we've got there's the space I'm in right now. It's not. I didn't go in through the front door. Actually, I kind of came around the back or the side. I'm in a classroom specific. There's like I'm seeing the letter D. I don't know if that was the teacher, or if it's room D or hall D or something, but they this classroom in particular has like a lot. This is where like a lot of the kids gather. And so when there's actually, this is interesting, this is actually also a place where when kids, it's interesting, they're saying it's almost like where some kids go when they don't want to pass over.
Oh, interesting. So it's
When
like the
they're
one
not,
classroom where they still want to hang out with each other, and they're not ready to let go of being with each other.
yeah, yes, exactly. And there is this like sense of camaraderie and friendship that's actually going on there. Um and so what I'm being told is that sometimes when children pass over, children are very connected to spirit. We don't lose that until we become older, right? But as children, we understand our connection to spirit. We don't doubt it. It just is what it is. This is why they always say kids are so smart, kids understand, kids get it, because kids they hold on to that intuition from birth. They don't lose it till later in life, right? Till grown-ups, in school start using that left brain. But these kids are, so my point to that is, these children aren't stuck. There's this, like we talked about, this choosing to be there, choosing to be in this camaraderie type situation, hanging out. But I do keep hearing this letter D, like there's somebody with I don't know if it's a male or female or a young kid. Now we do have down the hall, it's like next to a closet of some sorts. There's an energy being in particular that is somewhat aggressive. He's not, what's a trip is when he's there, when he's around the children, he's actually very respectful to the children. There's no, like he'll mess with people, he'll mess with adults. He'll even mess with spirits that come in and are just kind of like lost for a moment. They're like, "Hey, how did I get? What's going on?"
Would you think it was
He's
like a teacher or a principal or a counselor or something like that?
It could have been, but this guy, this energy feels like he hasn't been in body in so long.
Oh,
This
okay.
feels like this is kind of becoming a familiar trait where you've got these beings, and I say they haven't been in body in so long. It's like they seek out these locations that breed spirits that are choosing to stay there. And they seek out these locations because they know it brings in so much traffic, so many human beings now are interacting, and so many spirits are there interacting. I think the fascinating part is that he doesn't mess with the kids, and the kids don't really deal with him. Like there's this not bond, but understanding. But
Like
this,
respect.
yes, exactly. Like respect that they have for each other. So they're separated, but this guy is like, he's I'm trying to he's not willing to he doesn't he's actually tries to push other beings out of there, other spirits. He's actually saying like this is my space, and I don't like other spirits passing through here. I don't like other beings coming through here. He doesn't. He's trying to actually make this space his own. The fact that the children don't engage with him, to him it's this sense of, okay, you can have your space, but he's slowly trying to take over territory of the entire space.
That's interesting. Maybe it had nothing to do with the school, but with the train accident or the flood, or just something to do with the land, not really the school.
Yeah, because I definitely, because he's been there for so long that I don't even feel his attachment to body. So it must have been one of those, yes, drowning. He just said drowning.
So was that the D? Maybe you kept seeing D.
Oh, thank you, Darren. Yes, that must have been, yes.
I mean, maybe that was trying to give you a sign or something,
So he's so I'm going to have this conversation with him. Okay. So, because here's the thing, I understand you're there, and I'm grateful and appreciate that you don't deal with the children, but why are you kind of not kind of, but harassing people that come through here? Not humans, but spirits that, because he's saying that there's these spirits that come through, like, kind of similar to last week. Not, this place isn't a portal, but it's like these, the beings are stopping into this location for some reason. It's just so active. There's just so much traffic, and not like last week's where it was a portal. It's not that. But there's just entities coming and going and coming and going. He's saying that that humans that come through there bring entities with them. And he's very territorial and does not like to share, and he doesn't want other beings in there. The thing is, on the other side of the building, you have this whole other group of spirits and energy that were in body recently, that are kind of stuck, and that do, in a sense, support each other. So it's like on the other side, like all the way over here, like he feels like he's like kind of by the janitor's like closet.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
on the other side of the school is this group of these beings that died as adults, and they're all gathering because it can interact with the kids. That's not a thing or an issue, but everyone's staying away from this being that's on the other side of the building. That being is one who tends to create a lot of noise for humans, create a lot of attention when humans come in. He's like showing me how he'll like take tables or chairs and just like shake them.
Okay.
He
could be the one that's dragging the desks across the floor.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yes. He's also just kind of showing me more of like a shaking. He doesn't, and some, how we've talked before about how some of these darker energies really love like messing with people. Like they love it. He's not like that. He's actually angry. He's actually not happy.
Yeah, I'll tell you real quick, if I could pause you just for 1 second.
Yeah.
I believe, Angela, do you want to show us where we are with the update?
So I really quickly finished up on this sketch. It's a very quick sketch I did because I want to go ahead and move on to the entities, because the entities that she's talking about I've run into. There's another entity in the building, and I wanted to go ahead and do a sketch of one of those entities because I've also connected them. I got an EVP of him's voice as well. He's a kid. He's got kind of a little higher pitched voice, and he's got a little bit of an accent when he talks, but you hear him telling other spirits too. But here we go on. I don't know if you can see this. So
yeah, just go or flip it around just a little bit. Right there, perfect. And so this is the spirit of a girl that you've connected with there.
Yes.
Do you know what her story is?
She is the one that fell from the top of the stairs. Before there were safety railings. They actually blocked up part of the building and walled it off because of this incident. Another mean little boy just shoved her over the railing, and she fell. She did not die in the building. She was badly injured. She did pass away at the hospital.
Oh, goodness.
But she keeps coming through to me, and but she looks in an older fashioned dress. It's got puffy sleeves on the top, and I got a sense it's like some sort of jumper like thing.
Okay.
She's dark hair and brown eyes. But I just did her sketch very quickly, just so we can get a sense of her. And then what I'd like to do is move on to the other sketches of the other entities that she's talking about. And then
that was a really cool sketch. I can't believe you did that so fast.
Yeah, well done. All right, well, I'll tell you what, since we're up against the clock, Angela, you go ahead. Maryam, I know you have to kind of get back into mode of seeing things again there. Is there anything in particular? Like I said, some people have been scratched, I believe, maybe tugged on, some things have happened in there. Didn't know if there's some wise guy in there or somebody you could see that's, causing all those shenanigans.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm just gonna kind of recap for myself. There's the I feel like a lot of that is coming from this guy over here, the one that said he drowned, the one that's by the closet, the janitor's closet. He's just he seems to be the one that's more active. Oh, okay. Nope. I've got a young boy who is also actually, he's by no means a dark energy. He's actually just really playful. And so that's where this young boy is more of a playful type. So where some of like, I feel like there's been some more like lighthearted experiences there. That would be his. Whereas this darker energy is the one that's like purposely scaring people off. He's saying he's doing it again because he doesn't want anybody there. So he's just trying to remove humans and spirits from that space so that he can just own the entire building.
And he doesn't want to move. He doesn't want to move on for some reason.
No, he wants to take over that building. He has no desire. Hold on. Talk to me about why you're. Talk to me about moving on. What happened? What happened? He's so angry. His anger, and he's hurt, really. That's why his anger isn't like some other darker energies where it can be really like scary and aggressive. He was hurt. He was devastated by, he felt he died too young to, he didn't like the way he died. It was not painful, he's saying, but uncomfortable and scary and not anything. He's saying, I don't believe that there's a God or that there's another side or heaven or universe because of what's happened to me. And because of that, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just staying here.
Can I ask you real quick before Rick had put it up there, but one of the viewers, Danielle, had said, my friend has SLS footage, which is the camera that shows where it maps figures of a shadow figure pushing an SLS stick figure off the stair ledge where Sarah fell. Don't know if we can connect the dots on that, if that could be the guy that did that. And then also something attacked Daryl, who was Wiseman, who's the owner, woke up with bite marks in his head, bleeding, 4 large teeth, something sinister there. Could it be this guy that's so territorial that doesn't want to leave the place?
Yeah, I think he's definitely the one that with the bite marks. But hold on. I think there's someone else there. Hold on. Someone else is there. Okay. No. Okay. Sorry. I accused him incorrectly.
Oh, so the original guy is not the real bad guy.
This guy that I was talking to is, all those things are happening, but he's saying I'm not the one that to go back when I was saying like his anger comes from pain. And so we were talking about the pain of all of that and how he doesn't believe and doesn't want to pass over.
Died too early, upset about that.
Yeah. But he's saying, so I'm feeling the anger, but it's from the sadness. He's saying, I didn't do that. And he's right. He didn't do that. He didn't do that stuff because I can feel the energy that did do it. Okay, so the energy that left the bite marks, were you saying, Darren, that we think it's also the energy that pushed someone down the stairs?
Well, it says, Daniel said, my friend has, here we go, SLS footage of a shadow figure. So a shadow figure pushing another SLS stick figure. Remember the map looking figures that are on the monitor off the stair ledge where Sarah fell, which tying it back to what Angela had showed us the portrait there. So
yeah,
kind of a lot of stuff going on there, but maybe it's all interconnected.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely right. This energy. I'm so glad she said this. The person, who's
Danielle. Yes,
Danielle, because she opened me up to see something else. This gentleman I was talking to isn't the one that is doing all of this. It's this other being, and he actually is. He's in the front of the building. He sits on, I can't remember. Are there steps in the front of the building? I feel like there's steps somewhere in the front.
I'm trying to remember. Well, if we could, yeah, there is.
It's okay.
Yes, Angela confirmed that. Yes, there are steps.
Okay, so there's steps in the front. He's sitting in front of the building.
Oh, there we go.
But he's facing He's sitting in the front of the building, but he's not facing the street. He's facing the building. Okay. So, okay. Oh, interesting. All right. So this energy is now I've described energies before where they like spit fire. And I think that that's a way, that's how I'm interpreting their aggression and their level of darkness. Because there's this throwing of their energy that is so aggressive. Okay, so all these little pods of people that I talked about, the pods of the humans over here, the adult spirits over here, the children spirits here, this
Right in the
other
classroom.
guy that lives by the janitor's room. Everyone has their spot because of this being in the front, this being that's facing the building. They don't want to cross his path.
It sounds
That's
like
why
he's
everyone's
trapped them in there.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, that's why no one wants to cross over to other areas of the building. What's so interesting though is you do have some of these children are so playful, even though this dark energy overwhelms the building. It's like they're immune to it or something. That's fascinating. So anyway, so let's go back to this guy. Okay, I'm going to approach gently. Let's see here. So he's able to like he reaches his he throws like his energy at you. And like anyone that
negative energy.
Yeah, he's super dark. Like I'm trying not to use the word fire necessarily because I don't think fire is the right interpretation of it. But he's throwing this energy. So like it's almost like anyone that tries to cross, he throws it so that he keeps his space open and controlled, right? Okay, so hold on. I'm trying to come. I'm going back. That's why I entered through the back. I was wondering why I entered through the back.
He had the front sealed off.
Yeah. Okay. So I was with the guy at the janitor's closet, so I'm making my way up. Hold on. What's where are you from? Yeah. I can talk. I can stay, I can talk. Okay, so hold on. So he's threatening me. So I'm going to stay and talk, or we can have you removed. You can pick. Okay, we'll stay and talk. He doesn't want to be removed. I can't promise that's not going to happen, but we'll stay and talk. What are you doing? Why? Centuries ago, he was on this land. Centuries ago, it's like he's almost, I'm feeling almost like war or something that he was killed in.
Okay.
And he has, this is weird, like it's like his energy, his dark energy is just multiplied and multiplied and multiplied as long as he's been there. He's just gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. He basically chose, I'm going to stay here until like okay, hold on. When he was at war, he died very young and he didn't get the opportunity to kill is what he's saying. And he wanted, when he passed, he had the option. He because that was so important to him. Killing was very important to him. Are you sure it was a war you were in and you weren't actually just a mass murderer? Yeah, I'm not really sure.
I don't know if there's anything about any kind of a battle, Civil War thing or something on that land. I'm not familiar with that, unless he was, from there, died in another place, and then came back. Yeah. I mean,
I'm not totally buying what he's saying. It's not making any sense. So let's back up. I'm not buying that. What's going on? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm not, he's just, okay. We can't trust a lot of what he's saying. Okay. So let me just see if I can feel around him and see his life experiences, because he's not honest. Nothing about him is honest. So I want to see if I can just look at his past and see where he came from and what he's doing there. He's definitely been accumulating power, if you will, and dark energy for centuries. He was part of. He was
let's see.
part of.
Looks like Angela. Do you know something about this, Angela? I saw you flagging me down.
Yeah, I had a confrontation with him before. He appeared to be as a skeletal face one time, but I'm getting that he's Native American. Indigenous cultures.
Go ahead. You want to show the camera? Can you bring it up to the phone?
Sorry.
There we go. That's okay.
Sorry. I get a sense of a Native American heritage here. Let's try and read this way. Here we go.
That's it.
A sense of a Native American heritage, and in the Native American heritage, if you're indigenous, one of the things that you would do to show you're a man is do a war party. You would lead a war party against your enemies. If you did not make it, if you did not live to succeed in capturing a war trophy for your tribe, then you were not a man.
Wow. So you had to prove yourself, and really a tough way of doing it.
As valuable to the tribe, which and drowning would make sense. There was a catastrophic flood that did kill a lot of Native Americans very long time ago, that basically devastated the entire state of Ohio.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's so yeah, because I was seeing right before that, I was seeing him as part of a community. And there was, as part of this community, there was a lot of slaughter. It was the word he was using. A lot of killing that took place. He doesn't like that I was able to go past him and see his life, because he was trying to twist all my words, obviously. Okay, so here's the interesting thing about this too is, even though he was involved in the slaughtering, if you will, of humans, he understood power. He understood energetic power. He understood how to use it to harm others. He understood that in body. He understands it out of body. And so he's claiming this space. And here's my concern is I don't like that he has claimed this space and it's influencing all these beings that are in this school, because I have a feeling these beings that are there aren't passing over because of him.
Intimidated. What about, the one thing I had real quick, what about the people that live there? I mean, with this kind of stuff going on, are they safe, or or do they have to worry about being engaged by these individuals, or spirits, I should say?
Well, they have been engaged already, right?
Right. I'm just wondering if it could elevate and escalate,
Hold on, let me see. Yeah, he hasn't. This entity has no boundaries. He has no boundaries. He doesn't have any. He's not concerned. He's more This is one of the reasons why humans in body may not be severely hurt by him. And I say may, because he's capable of anything. Because this entity isn't concerned with humans. He's concerned with spirits. And he's trying to control the spirit world where he's at. He understands he's not in body. And he knows that he has limitations because of that. He also understands, because he's not in body, the limitless ability he has with the beings that are out of body that surround him. Okay. So if anyone watching would like to join me, let's see if we can remove him. Okay. So stand behind. Call in any beings that you communicate with, whether it's past loved ones, the usual big guns, Archangel Michael, whomever. Everybody call them in. Okay, just sit for a minute and feel them. What I want you to visualize is us here on this side, right? And this energy right across from us, and we're just face to face, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to call in, I've got Celeste, I've got Olivia. Are we okay with doing this? They're saying yes, go ahead. Okay, hold on. All right, ready? So I want us to gently lift him from below and lift him out, okay? We're not going to bring in any aggression. We're just going to bring in compassion. He can't attach to anybody. Don't worry about that. Okay, here we go. Celeste, you can lift. He's rooted. He's rooted. Okay, he's going. He's going. Okay, he's going. It's going to take, he's heavy, strong energy, and a heavy, strong energy attached to the earth. It's going to take some time, but they've got him. They've got him. They've got it. You can let go. Okay, they got him.
Wow.
So that doesn't, now what'll be interesting is next time you go, Angela, or if we ever go back to this location to experience what I can already actually feel these beings spreading out now. I can actually feel them engaging with each other and spreading out. I can feel them interacting already. He's not gone, but he's lifted enough that he's opened up the space for others.
He was like smothering them, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it's just like a giant umbrella over them.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of like a part 2 to see where we land with all this. Angela, what did you get?
Well, I got that, that he is Native American. He has that heritage, but a very young man, a very young and impulsive man. Probably didn't pay too much attention to his elders, but there was definitely a lot of warfare between the tribes, and one tribe was definitely trying to dominate the other. They were really fiercely fighting over resources, and it was a matter of you had to prove yourself in your tribe by capturing something from the tribe that you're warring with, the enemy. And it was very intense. When I'm getting there was a lot of skirmishes. They'd have a lot of skirmishes back and forth whenever they see each other, but it would escalate to the point where they're getting bigger and bigger war parties. They're not being discriminatory on who they hurt or injure, and it got really intense. Because they're fighting over prime hunting and fishing land. Right. It'd be extremely difficult for them to be in the same space, and they're fighting each one is thinking they're fighting for the rights of the other. One would not let the other group fish, it just got so bad. It was just a war life. But he is extremely impulsive. It felt like when he went out, it felt like he was trying to go with the war party, but maybe it seems like he was trying to tag along. Some of the younger warriors will tag along on their first trip out, instead of leading their own party. And being impulsive that he was, it seemed like that they were ambushed, or he was ambushed. And it feels like to me that he was like, his head was pushed down. It's pushed down and held like underwater. Ground.
One of our viewers, Zan, said, I see somebody or someone who is very controlling, very rebellious, and angry. I guess he checks on all the boxes there, so to speak.
Right.
I wonder though if that's the guy by if they're picking up on the guy that I felt by the janitor, the closet, because he was angry, rebellious. I didn't use the word rebellious, but I could see that for sure. I mean, it could have been a completely different energy for sure. He is much of a loner. That's how, Zan's saying he was much of a loner, but that's how I viewed that first energy that I read, that dark energy by the janitor's closet. That's how I viewed him, very much a lone wolf. Same. I bet you it's the same guy. That looks really cool.
Yeah.
Now that's this. Which one is that?
This is the Native American.
That's the Native American.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aggressive, dark, dominant energy at the school.
Yeah.
It's been there for hundreds of years, and violent, arrogant.
Yeah.
It feels like to me that he was almost like somebody important, maybe a chief's son or an important warrior's son.
So
that
could be the person that's attacked Daryl. I mean, when he had
yes.
Okay.
I apologize. We had a little.
All right. That's why we got you. We know you're there.
All right, but yes, I really feel that it is, because when he would appear,
I do too.
He appeared to me the first day I went into school as just like a person in a jogging outfit with a misty face, but he appeared to me over 7 foot tall, crazy tall, and it's like he could manipulate how you see him. And no one person would see him the same way. The only thing that was consistent was his height. His height was 7 foot tall every time you'd see this person. His dominance, his tendency to, when he walks in a room, he tends to want to dominate your state or try to intimidate you. He has poked me in the ear a lot in one classroom, and he just walked in and he was like, I'm taking over this classroom and I'm messing with everybody. And others trying to come through, and he would dominate them, and the moment he'd come through, all the other ones would go back.
Oh, that's interesting, because that's exactly like what I was describing,
right.
Like he was keeping everyone in their pods, in their area.
And he'd come around, like the one room we were in the teacher's room, one of the larger classrooms, and it has a mix of chalkboard, concrete, and wood around us. And you start hearing knocking all around, knock, 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 on all that. You could hear knocking on all the different materials. So it sounds different. But while that was going on, we were trying to open a spirit, let spirit communicate, and they were trying to communicate. The little call button was going off. Of course, there's nothing attached, so you just hear the click, click, click of the call button. And when he walked in, though, that started to stop, but you could feel the energy build, and I started getting stabbed in the ear. I was sharp pain in my ear, and it felt like somebody was taking a pencil and stabbing it in my ear.
Wow.
I was like going like this, and I said, "Stop stabbing me! That must I know I don't have an ear problem here." And a few of us chimed in, stop stabbing her in the ear. We're coming in saying, "Stop doing that," and then he stopped and he left.
Wow.
I think that's proof that my goodness, that is a crazy activity amount of place there with that property. Angela, we only have just a couple of minutes left. I'm putting up your Facebook page. I figured that was just the easiest address for folks to be able to reach out to you and to see some of your work. My goodness, we appreciate you being with us tonight.
That was awesome, Angela.
That was cool.
Thank you. And on my website, if you'd like to go to my website, it is a little long, but it's not too bad. It is asupersquirrel.wixsite, wixsite.com/ Angela Boley Portrait, all one word, no spaces. It's long. I apologize for that. But yes, you can go to my Facebook page, or you can go to the website. Sometimes you can just type in my name, psychic artist Angela Boley, and it will come up as well.
Okay.
Or just message Rick, and Rick can send them over, because she's got amazing artwork for you guys to see.
Absolutely. So everybody, thanks so much for joining us again for another edition. Have a good night.